And fallout from recent hurricanes hitting close to home. An IV fluid shortage has led to a temporary cancellation of elective surgeries for at least one local hospital. Western Mass News reporter Reagan Lockery has more.
Cooley Dickinson Hospital tells us they have made the difficult decision to defer some non-emergent elective procedures requiring certain IV fluid from Sunday, October 13th through at least Wednesday, October 16th. They provided us a statement that reads, in part, while we strive to minimize any impact on patients, these measures will ensure we are able to care for those in immediate need. Due to the unpredictable nature of the situation, we do not know when our supply of IV fluids will improve, but we are closely monitoring and will continuously evaluate to ensure we can return to normal operations as soon as possible. Meanwhile, Western Mass News caught up with John Rogers, professor of economics at American International College. He tells us disruptions to the supply chain following storms do happen. However, they are pretty rare. He adds that this one really caught the country by surprise since it happened in the mountains instead of the coast where you typically find major hurricane damage. Rogers explains that about 60% of the country's IV fluid comes from one single plant in North Carolina run by Baxter International.
That's their countrywide supply. It's economies of scale. They can produce more efficiently by putting everything into one plant rather than distributing it regionally. But I think after this experience, they're going to have to reevaluate that strategy because the whole country then becomes dependent on one source of supply.
Professor Rogers tells us this is a fairly serious situation, and he anticipates it will take a while for the plant to get back on their feet and for supply to get back to normal. Meanwhile, Cooley Dickinson assures us that they are contacting affected patients and will work to reschedule them as soon as possible. Reporting live in studio, Reagan Lockery for Western Mass News.